Good morning and welcome back. My name is Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, and in just 2 minutes, we're going to have another episode of Ask a Traffic Cop. This is that intro. Now, one of our viewers suggested we do the Vision Zero spiel as part of this intro, so let's give it a try. Vision Zero Enforcement Team. We post where they go every single day. They're a dedicated group of officers who spend time in the community changing driver behavior one ticket at a time. They focus on activities like, well, the big four: speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. Where are they going to be today? Glad you asked. They are going to be in 13 Division and 42 Division, and if that doesn't mean anything to you, those are neighborhoods like Yorkdale, Glen Park, Briar Hill, Wychwood, Oakwood, Vaughan, Malvern, Agincourt, Milliken, Rouge, Scarborough, TO. Yes, they are neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play and deserve to be safe, and we announce these locations every morning on our Twitter account, on our Facebook, and also on Instagram. But then we talk about it here on the show across all of them. Now, I want to bring something else up. A couple days ago, the Vision Zero Enforcement Team sent me a couple of pieces of info. They said they got a driver at night doing 206 kilometers an hour on the area of Highway 27 in Eglinton, driving a BMW twin-turbo car. Driver was 23 years old, driving on winter tires that were worn down, and they were using an expired temporary sticker. Does that sound like a recipe for success? Well, no, that was a recipe for disaster. And thankfully, officers caught that person, charged them, and took their car away for 14 days, their license away for, 30 days. And then they get to go through the whole court process. So lots of good stuff there. If you're going to drive fast, do it on a track. There's a whole infrastructure of ways to do things properly. But if you're going to do it on a track, you should probably have good equipment too and not bald winter tires. Winter tires, if you're still driving on them, please correct that. Winter tires don't do well in the summer. They actually take longer to stop than in dry weather. And there's only 8 seconds left, but I'm going to go along because I want to make sure that you take the opportunity to pop some questions into the chat box now and also share this live with a bunch of friends. Retweet it, share it, like it, subscribe. That helps us out. And what else can I tell you? No, that's about it. Wherever you're watching is the right place to be. Strap in. Now, also, if you're on Twitter, go to trafficcop.ca because you can't ask us questions on Twitter, but you can by clicking the link into our YouTube right at the top of that thing, trafficcop.ca. Okay, finally, I'm going to stop talking and let the live show start. Thanks for tuning in. And that's it. It's me. I don't know. What do you think? Did that work? That whole concept of having the I still forgot. I take for granted that that everything's just working when I do that intro, and I'm like staring at a phone that isn't even on for Instagram. Instagram is now live. We're live everywhere. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I absolutely love the fact that that person got charged, that Vision Zero catch. And I got a couple other Vision Zero Enforcement Team things to share, and something really exciting. Do we start with the really exciting thing? I think we do. Let me press the button because I even made a graphic for it. 4 driving skills for life. Have you ever heard of it? This is awesome. And I've been waiting all night to share it with you. I've got a meeting today. I'm going to be at this event. We're supporting this event. It's an awesome event. And it's free. So you now have this opportunity to jump in and register for free. The link is going to be on my Instagram. No, actually I'll put it everywhere, but it's going to be on the trafficcop.ca website. It's not there yet. I realized that I didn't put it up there, but it's drivingskillsforlife.ca. And if you go to the training events, there's one for Toronto, again, for free. It looks amazing. It's a 4-hour program where you get to drive a car. You have to be a licensed driver, even if you have your G1 is okay, but this is going to give you skills. Saturday and Sunday sessions. The first session is from 7:30 a.m. till noon. The second session is from 1 to 5:30. And like I said, I'll be there. It's going to be held at the Toronto Congress Center at 650 Dixon Road on Etobicoke. You got to register in advance. You have to have your spot. You have to bring ID. You have to sign waivers and do all that stuff in advance. But you're going to learn about hazard recognition, vehicle handling using Ford Mustangs, space management and speed management, distracted driving and impaired driving. That is not how to learn distracted driving. It's not how to drive while impaired. It is to give you skills and understanding of what it is going to do to your driving if you're driving distracted, if you're driving impaired. It's really cool. Yeah, I can't wait. So it's not that far away. Involves some planning on your side. But doesn't matter if you are a brand new driver, it doesn't matter what age you are, as long as you're a licensed driver in the province of Ontario, you can participate. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing all sorts of content leading up to this, and content during this. And of course, it's an opportunity if you come out and participate, you get to come out and meet the gang, because we will be there working. Because I'm excited. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm looking forward to it. Okay. We'll come back to this a little later because I'm sure there's going to be questions related to it. First things first, I want to quickly mention the fact that we are broadcasting on multiple platforms. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Kick, and Twitter. Have not updated that to an X yet. I don't think I'm going to yet. Still, I don't know. Sorry, Elon. Don't be upset, but I need a brand standards package from you so I can update it properly. I don't want to just grab something out of the ether and throw it up there. That would be wrong. So that's what has halted me from changing it to the new X. How does an X tweet? Does the word tweet, are we no longer tweeting on Twitter? Is it now Xing? What is it? I need the new terminology. In any case, if you're on Twitter, because it's still broken, we can't actually see your messages. Used to work when it was Periscope. It doesn't work anymore. We'd love to be able to hear from our Twitter audience. But I need to make you a YouTube audience or any one of the other platforms if you prefer one of the others. If you go to trafficcop.ca, that will give you the ability to click on the big link right on the top. It's the first one. It's for today's live stream. You'll be right into it. You can go into any one of the platforms that we're broadcasting on and participate. Okay, with that out of the way, let's jump into stuff and things, which is first off by going into our chat and seeing who's here. Kayla Draconis with greetings and salutations. And Chase says, yes. VZ in the intro. Yeah, see, I listen to the suggestions. This is a show for you. Well, not just you, but every you who's watching. It's for everybody. It's a show that allows me to answer your questions, and the more questions you have, the more questions we answer. It just builds from there. Tim says, good morning, Sean. Thanks for all you do. It's my pleasure. That's why I'm here. We love this. Police are just helping people helping people. We're just like everybody else, but we're actually, hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good.
Are you joining?
I have 15 minutes.
15 minutes of sergeant time. Hang on, let me move my bags. I was not anticipating a guest or a visitor or another person occupying space in the office, but that is awesome that you're here. We were just discussing, actually, we're just going through hellos. You missed the intro, or possibly maybe, and you didn't see that we now have Vision Zero encapsulated in the first 2-minute intro. Oh, here's someone from the past we have not seen in a while. Sean Chen is saying hello. How's it going, Sean? We missed you at the Honda Indy. Here, slide in a little bit. I'll slide out a little bit. But yeah, Sean Chen was at last year's Honda Indy, not at this year's Honda Indy. So yeah, Dr. Nick likes the fact that the intro included VZ, saves a lot of time. And he would like to also call, and thank you for mentioning it, Dr. Nick, a moment of silence for Bingo. Bingo, there's our motor squad is out supporting Bingo right now. I think there's a funeral procession or a service of sorts for Bingo. A very sad situation.
Yeah, not a funeral procession, but you know what? Just something to make it a moment to reflect on the fact that the service dog did exactly what the service dog was supposed to do, what it was trained to do, and quite possibly that bullet was meant for maybe one of the officers. So the sacrifice that the dog made to keep us safe, because the person was wanted for a homicide, may have saved somebody else's. So
absolutely. Do we do a proper moment of silence, or do we do it at the end, or do we? Have we covered it by talking about it? I don't know.
I think we're good.
Okay, because if you're staring at us for a minute, it's going to be awkward. I shouldn't be laughing. We're trying to be serious. Okay, a bunch of questions coming in. If you're on TikTok, know that we have a magical producer in the background who's taking questions. And if you put a letter Q in front of your questions, we'll know it's a question as opposed to dialogue amongst friends in the chat, which is a regular thing that happens. So I will be on the lookout for all those questions. They will be on the lookout for all those questions. Chase asking about when the event is. Well, let me bring that back up onto the screen. Ford, it's right over your face. I can't put it there. Okay, I'll put the logo away. But
I can move. There you go.
Oh, don't worry. It's just the logo. There was nothing else. I'll pull up the question. It's the 19th and 20th. I'm going to be doing some content specific to this. but it is going to be held Saturday, August 19th and Sunday, August 20th. There are sessions in the morning and there are sessions in the afternoon for each day, and it's going to be held at the Toronto Congress Centre at 650 Dixon Road. The website, if you want to go right now because you can't wait and you want to make sure you get your spots because they will fill up fast, drivingskillsforlife.ca, and choose the Toronto location because if you go to one in a different province, it's a very long drive.
Which would hone your skills.
This is all about making you a better driver, and we are all about just that. We want to make people safer, and this provides an excellent opportunity to get professional driving instruction, and it is free. Ford's doing pretty cool stuff in that regard.
Sorry, is it free?
It's free.
Oh, it's free.
It is free.
You should mention that.
A lot of people are confused, and they don't notice that when I say free, it's free. Regional TO is here with a hello too. We met a regional TO at the Honda, and he came by to say hello. That was cool. Let's see here. We're just flagging a bunch of questions, and I will be going back to answer in order. If you have thought about becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, I would like to remind you that we are currently hiring. This is as questions come in, I get to take a moment to draw attention to the careers page of the Toronto Police Service. You can get there by going to tps.ca/careers. Hang on. I have a thing I can put there. Where is it? It's right there. Look at that. tps.ca/careers. If you are interested in more information, well, all that information is right here. Police officer, special constable, parking enforcement officer, comms officer, which is communications operator, the wonderful people who answer the phone when you call for help, as well as the people who dispatch police officers to come help you. But then there's civilian roles. You don't even have to put a uniform on, and because not everybody wants to be out in the public in uniform. It's a job that takes a special person to respond to. But you may be someone who could help us out. If you're a job evaluation consultant or interested in that kind of position in labor relations, what is a job evaluation consultant? Well, I know they make between $111,000 and $128,000, so they must be doing something right. But everything that you have ever wanted to know about what the requirements are going to be listed here. So don't waste any time. Come back here to the tps.ca careers page and find out everything you ever want to know about all these positions. So we have SQL Server Database Administrator, Corporate Buyer, Senior Analyst, Senior Programmer, Senior Technical Analyst, Solutions Architect, and Communications Operator is here, but it is also on its own page. So, yeah.
And to the person who asked specifically about getting a job at a police station, working inside, that's exactly where you'll go to find out if they're offering any jobs, if there's a job posting for it, and how to apply.
Yes. And we have a new person in our office who's an administrative position, or in an administrative position. Welcome to the family again, if you're watching. But there are opportunities all the time, but there are windows of opportunity. When the job posting comes out, they're only going to be up for a period of time. You need to check regularly if you're looking for a job. And if you don't check weekly, you might miss that window. It may only be up for a week. So it is all about being determined and being switched on and checking back frequently. The Grinch says, good morning. What is this? Have to head close to the city today. I'll make sure to drive with care and caution and not make streetcar drivers mad. Yes, mad streetcar drivers is bad. But we know that you're the Grinch.
There has to be a history. There has to be something to this. Did something happen?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm sure he's mentioned it before, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, streetcar drivers drive. They're big. They're heavy. And they don't swerve.
They very rarely swerve to avoid collisions.
Yes.
And I've been to so many collisions where people have been, I have some comical photos because I take photos for collision scenes. And I have one was, I think, a Mercedes SUV that was suspended in air between a pole and a TTC streetcar. And how this person just thought they'd squeak in. They were wrong. They thought they'd squeak in. Okay, let's get into some questions because that's what we're here for. Jojo says, if I'm speeding and I work for the government, could I get off the ticket if I say I am working?
I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say that if your employer, which is the government, finds out that you're speeding and using that as an excuse, you may find yourself in trouble at work as well.
You could become a former member of the employee of the government.
Especially if it's the government's car.
Oh gosh, yes. If we're driving a police car and we get just so much as a a red light camera ticket that we can't articulate, we get to answer for that too. Bad things happen.
Yeah, we even if we can articulate it, we have no exemption for going through a red light without coming to a complete stop. And if we don't come to a complete stop, then that's when the red light camera will go off. If we come to a complete stop and go through afterwards when we're allowed to, we won't get a ticket. So it affects our work. It affects our hours. They can dock pay from us. Their goal is to make sure that we're driving safely as well.
I was thinking speed camera, because speed camera, we do have the ability to end the legal right to exceed the speed limit in an unlawful execution of our duties. But I said red light camera because it's on my mind. I put up a video yesterday focusing on a red light camera. Someone had gotten a red light camera ticket, and they didn't agree with it. They were making a right turn, and they thought that they should be able to make the right turn.
You certainly can, but you have to stop first. And if you come to a stop and make sure it's safe to do so and then proceed with your right turn, guess what? You're not getting a ticket.
The camera won't even go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we talked about the username Q. And actually, it's username and then question. We talked about this. So I put you up on there just so you can be famous for a second. Chase has a question. I'm scared to find out what he asked. Are plate flippers legal since no portion of the plate is covered? It just sits on top of the contraption. Some find it ideal for car shows. So I know that people have contraptions that hide their plate for car shows. I've seen one that slides out from under and flips up. If it's not being used, as long as your plates are on display while you are driving and you do not take them down or flip them to plates that are not assigned to your vehicle, I don't know if there's a problem. Is there something in the law that says?
I may have something here for you. Give me a second to find it.
I see. This is where it's wonderful to have the Sarge here, because I don't know everything. I know lots of stuff, but I don't know everything. And we're both both police geeks who look into things on our own, based on our own interests and some, or while looking for other things, we find some things. But let's put a pin in this and move on while we do some research. Cameron Cox has a question. Morning, Sean. That's a good way to start the question. Would you say that a bike rack on the back of a police vehicle is obstructing the plate? Oddly enough, I am asked this almost every day. Absolutely, it's obstructing, and there's no legal justification for it. We're not allowed to obstruct our plates like anybody else. It's not legal. But we keep saying it, and it hasn't been changed yet. So hopefully we will put plate relocation kits on those and make it legal, because that's what's required. You cannot obstruct the plate. Now, granted, our vehicles are easily identified, but it doesn't make it right.
All right, Sean. So it is unlawful to sell one, offer it for sale, advertise it for sale.
Really?
It is unlawful to use it, but it is not unlawful to possess it.
So, and that is specifically the definition of what device? A device that deals with...
A device to used to evade the toll system.
So, okay. So if that device is believed to be for evading, so I totally get that for an obstruction, for a plate cover that obscures it, polarized, like all those are
or
intended for that purpose.
Or whatever.
But if it's not...
So it's unlawful to use it. Mm-hmm. It's unlawful to sell it, advertise it for sale, or hold it out to be for sale.
So if they say it's not for that purpose, if it's for car shows, is it also? So I guess it depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah. How about for your car show, you take out your screwdriver, take your plate off?
That's so much work when you can press a button. No, I agree. You know what? Sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I love that movie, by the way.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We'll leave it at that. Okay. All right, let's see here. For those who, does anyone know where that line comes from? What movie it is? It's a great movie. With a Canadian actress. Okay, Just Jody asks a question. Can I merge into a bike lane to turn right at a red light if car going ahead is going straight? Can I merge into a bike lane to turn right at a red light if car going ahead is going straight? So you want to use the bike lane to drive beyond the car that's in front of you? Is that what you're asking?
I'm thinking pulling over into the car lane to pass it on the right-hand side to make the right-hand turn.
Well, bike lanes are not usually large enough for a car to drive in. If it's a bike lane, there are certain areas that have hash marks where you're allowed to pinch the curb. But you shouldn't be passing a vehicle on there. You should be patient and wait a moment because that would be the safest way to go. And what happens if they decide to make a right turn and they're not going straight? So if you wait just a couple seconds, you avoid a lot of potential issues.
And there are certain situations in the city of Toronto where you're allowed to enter a bike lane, and certain situations where you're not allowed to enter a bike lane or cross a bike lane.
Well, there's also different types of bike lanes. There's Shapiro areas on the road.
Yep.
There are bicycle lanes, and there are cycle tracks, and they're different.
That's
They are
what I
different.
was thinking of.
Cycle tracks you cannot enter,
Yep.
and cycle tracks some bikes can't even enter. A lot of people buy these e-bikes that look like motorcycles. Those cannot be on cycle tracks. That's an offense. They can't be there. They can be in cycle lanes. Well, actually, the motorcycle ones can't be anywhere. They can't. They can only be on the road. But if you have one that's a pedelec, you can go anywhere. If you have one that has a throttle on it, you can't be in cycle tracks. So there's a bunch of different rules. You really need to know what the rules are before you go. And luckily, I have a couple of links on trafficcop.ca that will help you with that. If you go to trafficcop.ca, at useful links at the bottom, there's one for cycling and the law. That gives you details in the city of Toronto as to what the laws are, as well as links to the actual law. But I have specific links, direct links, that go to the Ontario pages on e-bikes and e-kick scooters. So there's all that for you. Chase would very much like to confirm if the event is free. He did not hear me address it.
Sorry, is it free?
Well, the Ford, driving skills for life, it's free.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It
you
is.
should have said that.
You can, I will do my best to say it next time. Let's see here. So Regional TO knows Sean Chen. We're just having a reunion of friends on the show today. Let's see here. Bunjakar? Bunyakar? I don't know how to pronounce your username from Twitch. But the question is, if your two right turn lanes, can the outer right lane turn when the traffic light is red, or is the inner lane the only one able to do it? Many people, including myself, grew up thinking that only the curb lane could make a right turn on red. However, the law says that, well, it doesn't say you can't. Both can make a right turn on red if it's safe to do so, and if you go into the appropriate lane. There's something called an improper turn. You have to turn into the appropriate lane. If you go wide, or if you go close,
Narrow.
I suppose, narrow, yeah, that makes sense, then it's not lawful. So if you're in the curb lane, you have to end up in the curb lane. If you're in the lane to the left of the curb lane, you must end up in the lane to the left of the curb lane.
And it must be signed that you can actually make the right turn from the non-curb lane.
It has to be a turning lane.
Yeah.
It
Has to
cannot be
be-
the center lane or a right lane or a
It has to be
left
signed
lane.
that way, and it has
Yes.
to have the markings on the road to allow that.
Yes.
It can't be any other lane. It can't be a through lane, and you just decide at the last minute that you're going to make a right. That can't be done.
That is different.
And multiple turn lanes always correspond with going onto roads with multiple lanes of travel in that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making a right turn from the center lane, the road you're going onto may only have one lane traveling in that direction, and multiple people trying to occupy the same space at the same time doesn't work.
Yes. I totally ignored the last thing you said because I was trying to queue up another question.
All right.
Uh,
It was good.
but I'm sure
Should
you
have
had,
listened. It was awesome.
I'm sure it was. We have Amanda Casper who has a question, and I'm sure it's going to be an awesome one because I already laughed when I read it, and they're a nurse. So, is eating considered distracted driving? As a nurse, it's hard to get food in. That's why they make tubes. But anyway, but the
That was terrible.
it's terrible. Wait.
Distracted driving? Careless driving, it would be.
Could be.
Could be.
Depends on if it negatively impacts your ability to safely operate your motor vehicle. But if it's just, if you take a sip of coffee or eat a sandwich,
Bowl of oatmeal.
oh my gosh. Driving with your knees while eating. I have seen chopsticks. I've seen knife and fork. I have seen soup, hot soup. First of all, how they get it hot. But secondly, I mean, even people who drive with mugs in their car scare me. This is for driving. It is one that will allow you to not spill all over yourself and cause a collision. This is a very dirty mug that I forgot to clean yesterday.
I every once in a while like a McDonald's. But when you're going through the drive-thru and you're planning on eating it, you have to be smart about what you're ordering. The Big Mac cannot be eaten
Messy.
with one hand while you're driving. It can't be done.
So messy.
So I don't order it.
You have to plan. Listen, I'm a quarter pounder cheese kind of guy, and that's one that you may lose an onion, but you will not be wearing your food, and you will not be unsafely operating. At least there's less likelihood of it.
the simple cheeseburger is the safest.
I prefer the McDouble. I don't understand
I do like the McDouble.
the McDouble is a good, although it's gone up in price.
Yes, it used to be a good deal.
It was a really good deal. It was like 20 cents cheaper than a double cheeseburger or something like that because they were charging for the extra slice of cheese. McDouble has one slice. Double cheeseburger has two slices. I don't
We know
understand that.
way too much.
I
about
worked
that.
at McDonald's.
I didn't.
I was
just ate at
13.
McDonald's.
Mind you, they didn't exist when I worked at McDonald's, but I've kept up just in case they need to call me, in an emergency. I know things. I can help.
While I'm on here, I
trained.
just want to put a shout out for the McRib.
Oh,
Love the McRib.
so when I worked, okay, a couple of things. Now we go back in time for a little trip down memory lane. But when I worked at McDonald's, they actually they had McPizza,
Yeah.
which wasn't thrilling. They had the McDLT, hot side hot, cold side cold.
Remember that?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It kept everything crispy. Crispy's good. Yes, that was my. So that what else did they have? Orange drink was still served.
Orange drink.
Yeah, it wasn't orange pop. It was orange drink.
Oh,
I think, or maybe it was orange drink was just for our special activity stuff when you.
or for breakfast.
I
Then they
don't-
went to orange juice.
Well, yeah, the better stuff. Did we have anyway? Now, but there were time limits. If you waited more than a certain period of time in line, your food was free. If you were in the drive-through for too long, your food was free. Now they say we're really sorry.
And they move you on to one of those parking lot things where you could have just gone in and got it quicker anyways.
Well, I no longer go through the drive-through. I now order from the app and wait there because if I go through the drive-through, I end up in the parking lot waiting for my food anyway. So I just skip the whole process. Let's see here.
I think we squirreled.
But these are the best parts
I
of the
think we did
show. These are we've got a challenger here. Chase will take up the challenge on the one-hand Big Mac challenge.
You know what? I will take you up on that, but we cannot be driving while we're doing it.
Yes,
Deal?
this is a non-driving competition.
All right.
When I was in courts, we actually had a cheeseburger eating competition. I know it's shocking that we would do something as crazy and dangerous as that.
Is that what happened to you?
That's what it was. Overnight, I became this size. I actually was shocked. I didn't win. I thought that would have been like an easy peasy win, but it didn't actually happen that way. Okay, flagging a bunch of questions here. So 427 wants to know if I can use them at night, but I don't know what the context of this is. Scrolling back for,
Big Macs? Yeah, I can use them at night.
but I can't imagine that they were talking about Big Macs and using Big Macs at night. So can you let me know what you're talking about? All right. What is this? Happy Wednesday, boys. Love watching the show. John Westaver back 2 days in a row. And I said, John, that I was going to talk about you yesterday, and I totally squirreled and forgot to mention. So John is being on a podcast episode. You should come back. We should do an updated podcast, John. I'd love to have you back. And John is not only a motivational speaker, he's a crash survivor. He's an amazing guy, and you should check out his content. And I would say Google his name. That's the easiest way to go. But he was the lone survivor in a collision with his friends in the vehicle. They weren't. They had a designated driver. They had someone who was sober who was driving, but the car was going too fast, and the driver lost control. And as a result, John sustained burns to the vast majority of his body, and he has made his life. And I should not be speaking for John. I should send you a link and have him speak for himself, which I can certainly do, John. Send me a link. I can bring you into the show. But essentially, he talks to people about the issues with driving in such a way that only he can talk about. So very awesome guy, and not just because he survived, because he's an awesome guy. Anyway. If you want to check out the episode, go to TPS Traffic Jam. You can pull up the episode. And like I said, we got to do another one. So let me know.
Sean, got to run.
Got to run?
Got to run.
Okay.
Got to go. I got a meeting starting, 35 seconds ago.
35 seconds ago. You're
Yep.
late. Okay.
I am, so I won't be here tomorrow, and then I'm on vacation for a couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
no, I didn't know that.
I am.
Well, I'm glad you came in to say hello today because everyone would be wondering where you were and we wouldn't have that explanation.
Yep, absolutely. I will be, what will I be doing? Motorcycling, jet skiing, boating, ATVing.
We will feel sorry for you.
I won't be snowmobiling. So
Well, that's good.
and I'll miss it.
Well,
Take care.
we will see you later, and we will send you. Maybe we should just text you questions. We could do that. Okay. Now I am trying to. I'm going to flag a bunch of questions, and John, if you're still watching, yeah, send me a LinkedIn message, and I can send you an invite back. Let me see. Maybe he's already jumped the gun and he's doing it. It depends if he's in the studio, because he's got actually an amazing setup. Very cool stuff. Thanks for the message from Parker regarding rest in peace canine bingo. Is that an actual? Oh, it's dove. I thought it was like a peace dog. I thought they had a really like an emoji for that, which was going to be very impressive. All right. Oh, okay. My plate. Here's one while I'm looking for other things. If my plate got seized, where do I go to pick it up and pay the ticket? This is a good question. If your plate was seized, you need to go get your vehicle safety, and then you can apply for a new plate, but your old plate is gone. You don't get to pick it up. It's been returned to the Ministry of Transportation and it is no longer yours. In fact, it was never yours. It was always owned by the Ministry of Transportation. You just had the authority to use it, which you lost when your plate was seized. Okay. That's a good question. I don't think anyone's ever asked that. I thank you, Red, for asking that. It's awesome. And The Grinch is absolutely correct. The Girl Next Door was the movie. It was phenomenally funny and at times inappropriate, which is which made it funnier. Let's see here. So Grinch, kudos to you for. I'll have to send you some swag for getting that one right. So if I'm not mistaken, you're the only one who got it right. I don't think anybody else threw a vote in. But yeah, send me your info in the submission form on trafficcop.ca, and we'll hook you up with some swag or something. Because we need to do stuff like that. Why aren't we doing that stuff? Okay. What is this? Oh, okay. Clicking. I'm flagging stuff and then coming back, and I will answer them. But I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone's having a good day. It is a little rainy out. Is it rainy by you? This is the question of the day, because I'm kind of like done with rain for a couple of days. I'd like some sunshine and niceness outside. Okay, here we've got Aiden has a question about intersection lane changes. Okay. This is a good question. I'm going to put up on screen for everyone to discuss amongst themselves, even possibly in their own mind. So I have previously, Alex says, you said the tint limit is 30%, not degrees, but I've heard other cops say it's up to the officer to determine. Well, both are correct at the same time, and I'll explain why. Okay, the deal is this. There is a document called the Light Truck and Vehicle and Passenger Vehicle Inspection Guide. Yes, you can Google it, and it's available for all to see. And in that document, it explains the requirements for certification. So if you have more than 30% light blockage, you cannot certify a vehicle, which means that vehicle is now unsafe if you decide to change it from where it was safe. You've made it vehicle unsafe, can't be on the road. That is the highest level threshold, at which point we pull your license plates and you tow your vehicle home. So that is where you can get certified. In terms of the ticket the average officer will write, it is for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle with color or color or reflective tint. Now, color includes gradient. If it's gray tint, that's still color. It doesn't have to be purple to be against the law. But if I can't see you, if I can't identify you, if I can't see if you're wearing your seatbelt, using your cell phone, drinking, if I can't determine anything about the driver because it's so tinted I can't see in, regardless of where you fall on that 30% scale, it's against the law. That's a $110 ticket instead of losing your license plate and getting a tow home, but it's certainly still unlawful. Now, equally, if I were to look out of your vehicle and determine that your view is obstructed, that's another $110 ticket for that. That's whether it be windshield or side. It's actually, there's two separate tickets, one for your windshield, one for your passenger and driver side windows. So there's different tickets for different things and different levels of articulation required. If it's so dark that light isn't getting through, it's limo tint, it would be easy for me to articulate to a court that I seized your plates and I determined that your vehicle was unsafe for the road based on your inability to see in or out, or our ability to see in and your ability to see out. That's a safety requirement as opposed to me just being able to identify you. But both things can be true at the same time. So for me being that is illegal or illegal at that rate, and for the officer who said it's up to the officer, because there's two different charges that they're discussing. And not everybody knows about the other thing. Most coppers just know that a tinted window I can't identify, $110, and that's where it ends. But then you talk to me, who's an absolute traffic geek and likes learning about the law and reading every detail to understand it. Well, then I go the next level. I am the next level traffic geek. Can you exit a roundabout from the left lane? So you're in the inside lane, you want to cross over the outside lane to exit. That would be an unsafe move or an improper lane change. You would have to, there's a whole thing about entering. Now, where I am in Toronto, I've never seen a 2-lane roundabout. It's just not commonplace. There's an episode that we publish it. Is it out in the public eye? We recorded an episode. I think it's going to be republished, but it was a roundabout episode explaining it. But I will tell you this: go to turf.ca and on their page. Let me just pull it up. It makes life so much easier. There's a great infographic on their page, and that's what I want to direct you to. Insights. I think it's on the Insights page. Turf roundabouts. Look at that. Hang on a second. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let me share this page and you can see what I'm talking about. Boom. So here's the turf tips. And if you go to read more, there's the episode. And there's all this discussion about roundabouts and what you can do inside of them. So this diagram even shows you that in the inside lane, you can exit to the appropriate lane. But it really depends on the layout and design of that roundabout. But I would suggest going to turf.ca, TIRF. It's a Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and you can get information about roundabouts there. And they really go deep into all of the roundabout stuff. And there's still edits I need to do on that particular video, so we're going to republish it. Okay, I've covered this. Do all handcuff models used by police have the same key? No. Some have high security keys, and some are finicky about their keys. They're supposed to be the same, but they're not always the same. So, but generally speaking, handcuff keys are handcuff keys. They use a standard. They're not very difficult. Right. I remember now. Grinch. I now totally recall the original story about being halfway through it past a door. Totally get it. Okay. Thank you for reminding me, because I just didn't clue in. Okay. I saw a large car drive down the bike lane on University. So there have been people who just don't understand what a cycle track is. And when they first came in on Bloor, I watched in horror as people chose to drive down this bike lane. How on earth they got in, I don't know, but many, many, many cars going down. And it was so sad. To think that these people, tie their shoes every morning and manage to survive as long as they have, and yet they drive on bicycle lanes. We're doomed. Anyway, so yes, I've seen it too. What is this? Is it illegal to intentionally not have a recall completed knowing that it could be a safety risk? I don't think that the act of not having it completed is illegal. I think that your vehicle, I know that your vehicle not being in compliance with, so if it's unfit for the road, is different. So could it be that, let's say, they were going to replace something that would make sure that you don't have a tire fall off, and you ignore that. So when the tire falls off and, let's say, hurts someone, maims someone, kills someone, and there's an investigation done, and then we go back because we're going to investigate, well, the vehicle was not up to current spec, because the vehicle will likely be seized in relation to a fatality or a serious collision. It'll likely be being looked at in that regard. And maybe the investigator looks at records and says, well, the service record shows that you didn't have the recall. Could that affect you? Yeah, I think it could affect you. Would it be something we charge you with? Your vehicle wasn't safe because you didn't do something to prevent it? There's charges for that. I've never laid them, but there's charges for that. Can I park on city streets at no parking with a wheelchair pass? In the city, so it depends on each municipality. Each one has different rules. The answer is in Toronto, yes. With an accessibility permit, an accessible permit, you can park in a no parking zone. You cannot park in a no stopping or no standing zone, though. Now, even if it's no parking, you cannot park within 9 meters. Do you know how I know? Because I got a $50 ticket to teach me that I can't park within 9 meters, even though I have an accessible permit. So that's the deal. You can park in a no parking zone. Okay, how do I become a police officer? What do you recommend? So very simply put, apply. Okay, there's more to it. If you go to if you go to trafficcop.ca, there's links to the employment page, but you can go to tps.ca/careers to get a direct line. All the requirements are there. It's not something that we could spend an entire show just discussing the process and getting ready, but I would strongly suggest you go to the website and read up, because that's the best source. And then contact a recruiter and they will guide you. Absolutely. Okay, scrolling here. On the topic of, does Toronto Police offer good unionized jobs? Well, we don't have a union. We have an association, because police can't have a union. We can't strike. We're emergency services. We're essential services. We don't have that opportunity, whereas unions do. So the wording is different, but at the end of the day, we have representation. It is a fantastic job. It has a fantastic association. And I totally endorse and suggest and promote becoming a member of our service. We need good people who want to serve good people and help protect good people from bad people. And there are bad people out there. Okay, we got questions here. But if you got more questions about that, feel free to ask. More water required. And I have to talk about Harley-Davidson. I would be remiss if I do not. And I will do that while I take a sip of water. So let's put it on screen. If you would like to increase your odds of being able to win a brand new 2022 Harley-Davidson Touring Street Glide, I would suggest going to trafficcop.ca and clicking the link for harleyraffle.ca. Again, a little pause for suspense. I know that Instagram can't actually see what I'm talking about, but yeah, a little suspense there. 1 ticket for 20, 3 for 50, 8 for 100. It goes to support Special Olympics Ontario. And there's only 5 days, 22 hours, 16 minutes, and 16 seconds left. August 2nd is the draw. And if you don't buy a ticket, I guarantee you one thing: you have no chance of winning. You don't buy a ticket, you can't win. Buy one ticket, you have increased your odds of winning, well, a lot. I was going to say 100%, but it's not 100% you win, but you've increased your odds by 100%. Is that not correct? Am I making stuff up? Am I making sense? 5 times, 1 time. I don't know. I'm not a statistician. Is that even a word? No. Okay, I'm going to stop while I'm ahead or behind or whatever. Let's see here. Paper copies. Cuffs Garage has a question. We'll get to that in a second. Is blue light allowed on non-emergency vehicles? If so, why buses have them? My goodness, it's like you were in our office discussing it yesterday. I was actually talking to Sergeant Stein, who used to be our training sergeant, is now with the motor squad full time. And yeah, it's a good question. So you cannot project a flashing blue, because flashing blues, police in combination with red, police, fire, ambulance, I think they're all running red and blue now, or blue alone is snow removal if contracted by a municipality under contract. They're not actually projecting a headlight. They're not 300 lumens. They're not projecting high intensity light. It's a marker light. Now, it's arguable that it's not legal. I don't have a specific answer as to how they do it or why they do it or where they get authority to do it, but it has been permissible, and it's a government agency doing it. I think they're okay, but I can't quote you the area. It's a good discussion. I have to believe that it's not projecting at a level of concern. However, I know that we have laid, and OPP have laid, charges for people who have accent lighting in their headlight housing. I don't think that's projecting, but some people do. So I couldn't argue that one. I wouldn't lay the charge necessarily, but maybe somebody would lay the charge. Okay. Oh, good question here. So I've covered the, don't forget the Harley. Thank you for the update, which actually reminded me to do it. The Kayla's always taking care of business here, making sure we stay on track. Okay, let's go here. All right, I think we're up to date. Let me go back to I've got 11 flagged messages. I already talked about becoming a police officer very, very briefly, but again, the information that you need to do. Yeah. tps.ca/careers. Best place. Talk to the recruiters. Lots of them standing by right now to take your call. Maybe not right now. But leave a message, send an email. At first, read the page first. Okay. So I'm going to go to Jake here and the Thin White Line Interceptor in a moment. They're on Instagram and totally being ignored by me, and I apologize in advance, or maybe it's not in advance because they've been waiting for a while, I imagine. But I'm going to answer this one first. Aiden has a question. Is making a lane change within an intersection illegal or just not recommended? It's just not recommended. It's not specifically illegal, although I thought it was when I was a new driver. And the deal is that you may be required to do it to prevent a collision. But if you're doing it just because you want to, well, then you might cause a collision, because everyone has a role to play. It's like an act, a scene in a movie or a play. Everyone is expecting everyone else to do what you're supposed to do within an intersection. And if you don't do it, well, then everything can go awry. Someone waiting to make a right turn, not anticipating someone doing something completely uncharacteristic for an intersection, could cause a collision. Could you be responsible for it? Well, you could be partially responsible for it. Even though it's not specifically illegal, it could be considered an unsafe move. They could also be jointly responsible because they made a move that, or made a turn when it was not safe to do so. And it's just a mess. So if it's not absolutely necessary to avoid collision, I would absolutely not do it. Okay. What we got here? Big Jeff Fresh missed the Sun-Kissed or C+. Is it just not available anymore? I don't remember. I used to love Orange Pop when I was a kid, and I don't order anything with sugar in it anymore, unless I occasionally, have something with sugar in it. But it wouldn't be Orange Pop. Dr. Pepper, however, or Cherry Coke on the rare occasion. Cuffs Garage has a question, and that is, can an OPP officer pull over and give someone a ticket on a native reservation? I don't know. I just don't know. I imagine that they would have full provincial ability, but I don't know because I've never dealt with a reservation. So if they're doing it, I would assume that they have the authority to do it, but I couldn't say that for sure. We covered on this. We talked about this already, so I just duplicated that one for no reason. Dappy has a question. Can we run underglow on our vehicles? Underglow lights. Underglow lights are not specifically illegal. However, their use, if not done properly, could cause you to get a ticket. So if your lights are tucked up under your vehicle and only casting a glow onto the ground, not illegal. If that vehicle is spilling forward of the front fender or rearward of the, or beyond the rear bumper, that could be considered projecting light forward. You see, if the bulbs are visible and you're truly projecting, that's going to be a ticket, because the only light you can project forward of your vehicle is amber or white. Headlights can be amber or white. That's it. Taillights can be amber or red, and that's it. So if you're doing anything else, you could be getting tickets for having improper headlights, taillights, or whatnot. Otherwise, you can't have flashing red lights, red, green, blue, generally bad ideas. But what's really a bad idea is using underglow when you're not parked in a parking lot. I think we've gotten past it. I don't think it's cool anymore. I thought it was cool. I used to have glow on my motorcycle. I had tank lights, or basically lights that would reflect off the chrome on my motorcycle engine from under the tank, and it looked cool. My engine glowed. I was always nervous because it was before I was a police officer. I was always nervous that I was going to, someone was going to say I was doing something wrong. I never had an issue with it. Let's see here. Why is there never cops on big highways? Yesterday I was driving there and I saw a non-plated dirt bike, loud engine going over 120 kilometers an hour. Hope, I don't have a good answer for you. The OPP have only enough officers, they have enough officers. How do I say this? They have officers, but they can't be everywhere all the time. And I see them all the time doing enforcement. But when they pull someone over, they're stuck with that person. They can't be pulling the next person over. I see things all the time on my personal vehicle that people are getting away with. However, again, we can't stop everyone all the time as much as I would like to. I really would. I think we need a lot more automated enforcement. I think that would really help augment the work being done by police officers and the people that are doing what you're suggesting, unplated vehicles. We see unplated motorcyclists or motorcycles. Most humans don't wear license plates, but unplated motorbikes doing well above the speed limit. But even if they were doing the speed limit, it's unplated. It's illegal. So I'd like to catch everybody. I can't catch everybody. Actually, I can't catch anybody because I'm in an office all day. Why is my nose itchy? Okay. Justin has a question. It's a good question. I noticed this earlier. Justin wants to know about the 404, where the speed limit is 110. Is the stunt driving speed 150 or 160? Glad you asked. It's 150. And that's because anywhere you are, if you travel at 150, you are stunt driving. Doesn't matter what the speed limit is. So it is really annoying nose itchiness. Okay. All right. The deal is that if you are doing 40 over in an area that has a speed limit under 80 kilometers an hour, that's stunt driving. If you are doing 50 over in an area that has a speed limit 80 or over, it is against the law and stunt driving. But if you are doing 150 anywhere, so 40 over in the 110 zone would be stunt driving. I love that you asked that. We haven't spoken about it in a while. Jassim, Dr. Jassim wants to know, hi, can I make a U-turn where it says no left turn? Well, what's the first part of a U-turn? It's a left turn. You'd also be, interfering with traffic because there's no left turn lane where there's no left turn. Thus, you would be creating and potentially impacting traffic behind. What you could do is make a U-turn outside of the intersection where there's no sign, 150 meters or is it 180 meters? I think it's 150 meters beyond the intersection, or make plans to do it elsewhere. Make a right turn on that street, make a safe U-turn, come back onto the road, but don't make a U-turn at a no left turn because the first part of a U-turn is a left turn, and that would be bad. Okay, let's see what we got here. Approaching the end of the show, 8 minutes or so to go. I'll take a quick moment to show you what we have here on, but we're still doing your questions. And questions that come into the show up until 11 o'clock, I will still deal with for a few minutes afterwards. But then we'll gotta go because I got a meeting at 11:30. Okay, so what is this? This is what you get to. It's my link tree when you go to trafficcop.ca. Every day I'm trying to put the link to the daily show. Today is today's show. You click that, you go to today's show. Send me a message allows you to send me a message. It's really a wild concept. Of course, links to the special, the motorcycle in support of Special Olympics Ontario. All our socials for the service and for myself. But this is the useful links page, and this is really what I want to talk to you about. This is where you can make some reports. If you're a pedestrian or cyclist, do a collision report here. Driver's handbook. Check to see if a driver's license is valid. Renew your license plate. Know about the law. These are the pages I was talking about earlier. You want to buy a car? Great. Make sure it's not stolen. If you're buying a used one, that's where you would go and go to this page to check the VIN, vehicle identification number. Yesterday we were talking about vehicle VIN numbers. Yeah, vehicle identification number. Yeah, we're not talking about that again. And if you're new to, I see I didn't even scroll up enough for you to see that. If you're new to Canada, if you're new to a province, whether you're a resident or a visitor, there's all the details you're going to want to know right there. And it breaks it down for each province. And lastly, because I scrolled farther than I planned to, compliment a member of the Toronto Police Service. If you know of an officer that's awesome, and I'm not plugging myself, I appreciate that some people think I'm doing a great job, but you're following and spending time here is enough. But I'm talking about the officers that are grinding out there every day, making the streets safe. If you run into one of them and they're doing an amazing job, go use that form and send a letter to the chief by way of that form to compliment that member. It really means a lot. If you don't like cops, don't make one. But if you if someone makes a difference in your life, you have an opportunity to make a difference in theirs. It's a nice thing to do. Okay, I said I was going to deal with Jake here, and I forgot, so let's come back here. Is there a monument in for lost in the line of duty police dogs? I don't know. There is one. Like I actually saw the monument in Washington D.C. for police canines, and I don't know if it dealt with military dogs as well. But in any case, there is a memorial in Washington D.C. for American police dogs. I don't know if one exists for Canada. I think it's a great idea, though. Okay. Are transit buses allowed to use the bike lane on the right? No one's allowed to drive in a bike lane, buses or otherwise. There's no, I mean, police can do things if they got to do things, but that's different. It's emergency services doing emergency stuff. But TTC is not an emergency. They cannot drive down a bike lane. Okay. Paper copies. You can talk about this. Hello, do you need a paper copy of your driver's license and insurance, or will a digital copy be okay? Your insurance can be electronic or the original. Your driver's license must be the actual issued card or a temporary paper copy, but a digital copy for your license is not available in Ontario as of yet. Yeah, that was actually an old question that I missed, so I'm glad I came back and found it. Scrolling down, looking for new ones. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I answer your traffic and police questions weekdays from 10 to 11, sometimes from 9:30 to 11:30, because when we meet up with radio shows, like the Jerry Agar show on News Talk 1010, we give an extra hour or extra half hour of time. And then very often we continue past the 11 o'clock because there's so many questions in queue that we don't want to just say, forget about it, come back tomorrow. And that's what we're going to do today again. We're going to try and get through as many as we can. Here's a question about employment. More employment. This is good stuff. Akela Dracona says a hard stop at 11 o'clock. So he will be leaving, but we will try and remember to make his goodbye message known. What do we have here? Okay, we got a question about alcohol. What is the actual difference between the OPP and municipal policing? We'll talk about that. Can I have a ticket for a dirty car? That's an interesting question. Why do people on TV have drinks then drive home? That's a good question, or a comment in response to August's question. Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll talk about this. Timothy had a collision. Okay, Mo is asking the same question twice. I got the first one. We'll ask it again. I try not to. No need to spam. Spam is in a can, but don't spam the chat. You just asked twice, no big deal. But I had to find an opportunity to bring out the can. Okay. Oh, okay. What do you think of the U.S. government? What? Really? Okay, we'll talk about that. I don't have a comment because Oreo, the first I'm hearing about it is your comment. Okay. Yes, this is Kayla's goodbye. Okay. Part-time training, we can talk about that. All right. Looks like we're up to date. I'm going to now go back and have a quick look, and we'll talk about these things. So, any advice for someone about to graduate OPC, the Ontario Police College, and start their career at Toronto Police Service? Well, first of all, welcome. That's an exciting time to be finishing your OPC time and coming back to the Toronto Police College to finish off your post-OPC. So essentially, when someone is hired as a police officer, they go to the Toronto Police College. You spend a period of time prior, your pre-OPC. Then you go away to the Ontario Police College and do your generalist training, and then come back and get your Toronto-specific, polishing before being sent to a division or unit for your actual 10 weeks to begin with a coach officer. So here's the big thing that I would say to you as a new OPC grad coming back to TPS to do your thing. Acknowledge that you don't know anything. Whatever you've been taught is great, but when you are with a coach officer, do what they say. Learn from them and their experience. I'm not saying throw it all away. There was valuable information in OPC, but be willing to take their perspective. Be open. Be the new person who knows nothing, and be less pushy with your opinion and more listening than talking, unless you're told otherwise. That I think is a big thing. Other than that, every day is a good day. And they say, don't get into trouble, don't end up on YouTube type of thing. Remember that people on the street are people. And never forget that. They're all people. And they're humans, and we have to be humans when we wear a uniform. And some people do forget that and have to be brought back. But if you go out there knowing and keeping that positive outlook, be positive every day, smile a lot, I think you'll have a great career. And I'm oversimplifying. So by all means, reach out to me and we can have a conversation off the stream. But that's real advice. If you can make every day a good day and try and be compassionate to the people that you're dealing with, that you're serving, there's always room for good. All right, Mo has a question. Can you still apply to a service even if you have 6 months left in school? Yeah, you can apply anytime if you qualify. You may not be able to apply without if you're talking about your like high school, you need to have had your qualifications to apply are that you have those documents. I don't think you can apply before you have your OSSD. But if you're at university and you haven't graduated, yeah, then you could apply before graduating because it's not a requirement of your application. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. And frankly, if you had a year left of your degree, if you're talking about post-secondary, apply now. Why wait till you graduate? If you can get hired today, get paid today, finish your school part-time, you can do that. You can still get your degree, but you can apply today. So the question here from August is, why is drinking at arenas allowed, then drive, same with baseball? At bars, people are legally permitted to drink. It's the drinking in excess that is a problem, or choosing to drive afterwards. But no one says they have to get into a car. Why are bars allowed? Why can you have drinks at home? Why can you buy alcohol? Why is alcohol permissible to manufacture? I mean, how far do you go? At the end of the day, someone is going to be responsible for their decisions. They're going to get behind the wheel of a car, and if they're impaired, that's them breaking it, their choice to do so. There's no excuse for it, but it's going to be the individual. If I'm going to drink, I am not going to drive. It's simple as that. There are so many alternatives to impaired operation. Taxis, Ubers, transit, walking, cycling. Oh, cycling, bad idea. But there's so many options. By the way, e-bikes and e-scooters and anything that runs on electricity except for a wheelchair is something you can be charged for impaired operation for. Just saying. What is the actual difference between the OPP and being a municipal officer? Well, the OPP has jurisdiction throughout the province. They're a provincial police organization. They can be contracted to do municipal police work in smaller areas that can't afford to have their own police. But a municipal officer is specific to that jurisdiction. Toronto, being the largest one in Canada, deals with the city of Toronto. And we have a lot of officers in a very small area because we have a lot of people in that area. Whereas the OPP have to have officers for the entire province. It's a different style of policing when it's truly provincial. Like in Ontario, or in the GTA, they're primarily traffic officers on the highways, except in smaller areas where they do policing more or less like municipal agencies would. And there's a financial structure that's different because they actually bill the municipality for that, and that's beyond the scope of my knowledge. So that's I think we've taken it as far as I can talk about it. And even then, if you're the OPP and you've got a better perspective, please share it, because that's my understanding, not necessarily the what is. It's just how I interpret it and what I believe it to be. Radek wants to know if you can get a ticket for having a dirty car, i.e. a Jeep driving around the city covered in mud. I don't think you can get a ticket for the Jeep portion, the car portion. You can get a ticket for having a dirty plate. If your plate has mud on it and you're on the road and we can't see the plate, dirty plate is a charge under the Highway Traffic Act. Let's see here. Timothy wants to know about a collision they were involved in. We got into a car accident. I got to correct it. It's a collision, not an accident. And the officer did not speak to me or my fiance. He automatically gave me a ticket. What happened? I need to know more. Maybe it was something that was very clear. Maybe there was video evidence. I don't know. Generally speaking, I would take a statement from the involved parties. I wouldn't just arbitrarily write a ticket without knowing more. But maybe they knew something that they didn't share with you. So what happened? Let us know. Okay. Please bring back AI traffic safety tips. They were fun. Uh, Artificial intelligence is pretty awesome. I'm really interested in all this stuff. And AI safety tips was a social media uh, thing I did for a while, where I basically asked AI or ChatGPT to give me a bunch of safety tips, and obviously they were vetted. So in terms of, I wouldn't share anything that was incorrect, but they were all correct. It was actually very interesting. Maybe we'll bring back another run of that, only because it's fun. It's interesting to see, if a computer, an artificial intelligent chat interface, knows that running a red light is unsafe, then why on earth does a human being think that they should do it or get away with it or be able to defend it in court? Yeah. All right. What do we have next? So this is the one that I addressed earlier. Oreo wants to know what I think of the U.S. government confirming yesterday that aliens exist and that they have one in their possession. So I am going to now scour the internet to find what you're talking about, because that is a heck of a claim. I mean, Area 51 has always been talked about in movies, but I'm not aware of them confirming or publicly. And if so, what's the alien's name? Does he like root beer? Just asking. Akela says, I'll say it now, then, and stay safe, and remember, don't have a good day, have a great day. It's good advice. I had a conversation with my daughter, and I was talking about a concept of good days and less good days. We talk about a lot of stuff, very deep conversations with young persons. And I asked her, if you have a cup and it's half full, or how did I phrase it? Essentially, I wanted to know if she thought it was half full or half empty, trying to get it without providing it as part of the question. I didn't want to lead the question. But if I fill it up halfway, is it halfway full or halfway? And she amazes me every day. But she had quite an answer about it's half full. I'm really happy to have whatever I get, especially if I'm thirsty. Like there was so much positivity in the way she answered. And that's something that that many people really lose. At which point do we start being a half empty person? It's all about expectations. If you expect a full glass, then you're upset if it's not full. But if you're thirsty, half is good. Certainly better than nothing. I think that every day we have an opportunity to own it like we chose it, to be positive and remember that people don't always have it as good as we do. This job, what I'm doing today, it didn't happen. Well, actually, it happened by accident, not collision. Well, actually by collision. I was a motor officer. I was hit by a car, and I could no longer go on the road. But I created, essentially, with the assistance of my team, not my team, a team that I was part of, the support of supervisors and an organization that was interested in trying new things, created an opportunity to do what I'm doing today. And I love what I do. I miss what I used to do, and I would do it again if I could. But I could also spend every day hating life, feeling like things were stolen from me, or that I was wronged, or that this isn't good enough. Well, it's not what I signed up for, but this is amazing. And I love that I get to do it. So positivity is a big thing. Let's see here. Can we do part-time training to become a police officer? No. You can do a lot of training and education and better yourself on the way to becoming a police officer. But once you apply, you are a full-time employee. You are sent to the police college. Now, once you graduate, you do shift work, and some people might say that's like being part-time. You work for 7 days, and then you're off for 7 days. And if you're only working half the year, maybe you are part-time. It is the best job in the world, just saying. So if you're interested in applying, please do. Operators are standing by. Not really. Okay, what do we have here? Are MTO trucks using amber lights under... Oh. Are MTO trucks using amber lights under the slow down and move over laws? They're not emergency. Well, tow trucks are covered under the slow down, move over. So they're not racing to a scene for traffic clearing, but if they're pulled over to the side of the road and their amber lights are there and they're working actively on the road, I would think that they are covered. They're MTO trucks. We have crash trucks they're absolutely covered. Yeah, they're going to be covered as the slow down, move over things, but they're not going to be covered for traffic clearing. They don't have the authority to clear traffic. I think that's what you're going for. Oddly enough, somebody was charged with that in the last couple of days, which supports my theory. But whether it be tow truck that's connecting or a truck that is responding to an emergency broken down vehicle, they're working on the road. The spirit of the law would be to protect those workers as well. Anyway, let's see if anything else popped in that cannot be ignored. Tinto Tozzi's back. Wow. Oh no, I thought you were in Hawaii. You want to bring back Hawaii 5-0? They did bring back, like, are you talking about Hawaii 5-0, the remake, should be brought back again? Because there was the original, and then there was a like, okay, yeah. I don't know. I like the new one. I watched the new one for a while. Did it actually go off the air? What is this? If having a child seat is a must, then why are there no seatbelts in school buses? I got to ask Jody, the bus driver, who's a friend of mine from TikTok. But I believe that some jurisdictions do have seatbelts, and I don't know. Buses don't require them. Like, buses are exempt. Like school buses and transit buses don't have seatbelts. So it's certainly not as safe, but I don't know why school buses don't have them. I can't not give you the details. At one point, I was under the impression that they were believed to be less safe, but I don't know. So let's move on. Oh, Akela's still here. It's a noon appointment, not an 11 o'clock for his meeting. All right, I'm actually up to date. Look at that. Okay, with that, I'm going to scroll over here and see what's cooking in the chat on TikTok. See what's happening here. Actually, I don't think this will play properly. I really want to share the Ford Driving Skills for Life hands-on clinic overview video on Ford Fund. And let's see here. I want to. Can I play it? That won't work. We'll leave it for another day. Tomorrow I will have a shareable version, but I will take the opportunity to remind everybody. Let's see here. Captions. No, I want design. I want to put this logo up, and then I want to share the website in the chat. That's what I'm going to do. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go into my email. Stand by. We're working through this live. Wrong email. And I am going to pull up the link, and I'm going to put it into my link tree right now. I'm going to update it live. Ish. No, it's totally live. Okay, where is it? And we got some link tree submissions. Cool. Come on. I know it's here. Email on my phone takes a while. Come on. What time did I send it to myself? Well, what do you mean? Okay, where is it? Okay, we're going to play the traffic song while I look this up, because it's got to happen, and we're just waiting for technology to cooperate. But I'm in the process. We'll see in a second.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
And like magic, I have actually added the link. It's not titled properly yet, but we're going to title it now. Sign up for Ford Driving Skills for Life. and I'll put capital now. Okay, done. It is now updated, and if you go to it, let's see what it looks like in the preview. I got to put a Ford logo on there, but it's there. So go and sign up. Seriously, free training program. Why would you do anything other than go immediately and sign up? August 19th and 20th. Yes, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be there. What is it? We got some chat messages that popped in. Have a great day and always know the juice is worth the squeeze. All right. On that note, have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow for Friday. Yes, Friday, that magical day I look forward to every week. Not because I don't like being here, but because I like my family and I like my family time. And that's what happens after Friday. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Ciao for now.